fruit snap, and you're good.
We're getting ready to start. Hey everybody, how are you all doing? Welcome back to 30 something and Verging. I've missed you all so much. Oh my god, it has been 2.5 going on this week will make 3 weeks that we have not put anything out, but Anthony is about to actually go to the site and post 3 of the past podcasts on Facebook for you guys to go ahead and have something to listen to today. So he's going to post 3 of his favorite ones, or ones that he feels like hasn't been listened to enough, like you all need to get out and listen to. He's going to share those with us on Facebook, 3 of them. And then on next Friday, on Juneteenth, you're going to get this particular podcast. And this podcast today is called Lead or Be Led. Today, we are going to be delving into what it means to vote, the importance of voting, thinking about Juneteenth. As you can see my shirt, if you can't see my shirt, it says free-ish. That's what it says. And if we think about all the things that have transpired in the country over the past 2.5, 3 weeks or so, even a little bit longer, because I believe Breonna Taylor has been dead, God rest her soul, for about 2 months now. So like thinking about these particular things that have happened and the things that seem to be consistently happening, we need to understand like our power in voting, like what the actual branches of power afford us and how we can actually utilize those. And today we're going to have a Mississippian who is a higher education strategist and an attorney join us to talk about that. And his name is Stephen Richardson. We're going to call Steve now and we're going to start our discussion. If after you listen to this particular podcast, you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or you would like to know more about different things that are going on within your community, please reach out to myself. You can reach out to me on 30 something and Verging, the Facebook page, the YouTube channel, or you can get on to www.akilamiles.com/contact and check me out and give me like information there about questions or concerns or anything that you have. So we are giving our co-host for the night a call, Mr. Stephen Richardson. All right. He is a Mississippian. If I'm not mistaken, Steve, I don't know if that was his aunt or his grandmother that stayed behind my god sister in Jonestown, but he is from the area. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Stephen, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. Sorry about that. I don't know if it was my end or what, but we're excited to have you on 30 something and Verging. I was just letting the audience know that you are a Mississippian, and I told them I couldn't remember if you had a grandmother or if that was your aunt that stayed behind Marquita Perry. I don't know if you remember. It was like a White House in Jonestown. I don't know if that was your family or if that was just Allison Youngblood's family. Can't remember. But I was telling that you are a Mississippian.
Yes, I am. Born and raised, happy and proud Mississippian. Yes, definitely still with my roots, and I do actually visit as much as possible when we get back home. And I also, every time I relocate somewhere, I take that Mississippi cuisine with me. So, I do cook with the Southern style. So
yes, I see the meals all the time. When I told Marquita that you were going to be on the show, she was asking me, she was like, does he post? Because she doesn't do social media. So she was like, is he on Facebook? I was like, yeah. I said, girl, you should see him exercising and the food that he cooks. The cuisines are always they look so tasty and look amazing and healthy too.
Yeah, absolutely. The exercise must go with that food.
Yes, because you be eating good. It's not like you be like, I'm gonna stay away from the pork or whatever. Like you be like, this what I like.
No, it motivates me, trust me, to keep exercising. That's some very caloric food.
Yes, sir. So I told my guests, we call them vergers. I told them that you were a higher education strategist and an attorney. Could you elaborate more on what a higher education strategist is, and like the work that you do within the communities that you were in?
Yeah. So currently, as a higher education strategist, what I'm hired to do is basically lead strategic planning. And that's currently what I do, strategic planning for the university. But of course, the strategic planning transcends the lines of higher education, because, if you don't have a plan, you really are planning to fail. You should definitely, as in within the businesses and all, you of course need a business plan. So planning should be a part of anyone's business or operation or organization as such. And so what I do is using my background.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what I do is using my background.
Trying to make sure I turn my mic back on right, because I'm drinking water and you can hear everything in this mic. So that is totally awesome. I didn't know. So when I was reading your information, when I was reading your bio, and I saw that, I was like, oh my God. I thought he was. I don't know why I thought you were an attorney and still just an attorney in Jackson. I didn't know that you had moved away. I actually was in in Austin. I live in Texas. That has now been a little over a year or two ago. And so definitely, I'm not one to be tied to one place. When an opportunity calls, I go for it because of my background, ranging, as I mentioned in my bio, ranging from performance to news to marketing, brand building, public relations, and law. Yes.
So I usually merge those offerings and present to, whether it's a nonprofit, like now, for instance, it's higher education, or like I was, of course, doing a lot of trial work for a couple of years. And so it just ranges, and it just, whatever the opportunity is, I present those offerings.
Okay, awesome. That is totally awesome. So you're able to take every piece of your education and utilize it in some way, shape, or form within the higher education realm.
Absolutely. Yes. Because when I was in Texas, I was actually leading marketing, public relations, and Title IX. Title IX, of course, as you know, deals with any sexual harassment claims in the higher education setting, any type of sexual misconduct, any type of, things that deal with, unequal treatment, a lot of those things that come up when it in the higher education realm, from students to employees. And so I basically held two heads. I had two heads in operating in that setting in Texas, and again in higher education, where I had to take on those claims and investigate those and process those for university there, as well as then building the brand of the university through marketing and public relations. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that is totally
busy.
Yes, and I was just going to say, like, that's totally awesome, but it sounds like it can be extremely tedious. But when you love what you do, there is nothing that is tedious about it or taxing you.
Right, you've said a mouthful. Yes, it's the love, it's the passion. Passion has to drive it. Yeah.
So we are friends on Facebook, and what drew me to wanting to get you on was the recent things that have been happening within the Black community. It's been happening for years and years, but I think that what the year 2020 is calling us to do is to be leaders in all ways, shapes, and forms. And I like the fact that on your platform, on your Facebook platform, even before George Floyd, may he rest in peace, before his murder, you had been talking about Vice President Biden. You had been talking about like different things that were happening within the political realm. And to be honest, I would go and look. I was like, I'm gonna go look on Steve's page, because I know if it was something that I didn't quite understand, I could go to your page and you would either have posted something or made a post about it, and I could get a better understanding from it. So I told Marquita, I was like, I'm gonna reach out and I'm gonna see if he would be on the show, because after all this stuff had happened, I started thinking about the black and brown babies that I taught. Started thinking about my nieces, my nephews, my father, my uncles, and just thinking about, like, what if that happened to them? And I've always been an advocate for voting, and I've had friends that tell me, like, voting doesn't make any sense. It doesn't do anything. And I was like, no, you not doing anything does not do anything. That's what doesn't do anything. And I was like, I want to do a voter registration drive. And when I do the drive, I want to be able to have a podcast that I can say, hey, go listen to this and educate yourself so that you... And I told her, I was like, I think that having him come on and help me better explain, like, what it means, because I've seen you constantly say something like, take back the house, flip the house. I was like, people don't understand, like, they might know the branches of power, but they don't really understand the branches of power and, like, what people mean when they're like, we need to take back the house. Like, everybody's like, well, Obama didn't do shit for black Americans. I'm like, well, if you had gotten out and voted, you would have been able to put more Democratic people in the positions where he could have pushed different bills through. But he did build a whole lot of, with the help of Vice President Biden and the other Democratic representatives in office, helped to build bridges of certain levels of bipartisanship. But our current president is so divisive that there is no way for anything to be to be bipartisan. So I wanted to, like, just get with you and speak with you and maybe just pick your brain on a couple of things and, like, maybe help you get me to explain it to the public. Why is right now in this time, why is our vote so important?
I would pretty much rephrase that question, if I may, would say, why not this time? Why hasn't it been important before now? Because, yes, what you're seeing in mainstream media, you can throw social media in there. It seems like now, out of all time, this time is bigger than ever. And arguably so it is. But every election, and you may see me post a lot about every election, every voter, every election. Because once our ancestors, shed blood, sweat, tears, literally, to gain the right to vote. If we just step back and read history as a people, and some of our, grandparents and all who remain here, they can tell you the struggles that they had in their youthful years of getting access to voting and still, not having an easy time to even exercise that right once it was granted to them until much, much later years. There was still some voter suppression and disenfranchisement going on long after they received that right to vote. And I want to believe, I'll always want to believe that just making that as a reality, that our ancestors, our foreparents, fought, just the image of that bled, just the image of them crying. If they cry about anything right now, and you love whatever that name that you have for your grandmother or your grandfather you love so much, and sometimes more than your parents, whatever that fond name you have, call that name. And when you say, if someone call you and tell you that person is crying or is in pain, it immediately strikes you as a younger person, as a granddaughter or the grandson. I have to get to them now. I have to, because they just play such an important role in your life. Okay, now move that person into them and how they cried and was in pain just to vote. And now in 2020, we are still taking, this is after decades, or let's just say years, for the younger who are maybe 18, 19, just years after years of just taking the vote for granted. You now suddenly are hearing the more cries and louder cries that you need to vote. Well, there should not have been, again, if your big mama or whoever, again, that passionate name you call that person, if they shed tears and was in pain for this same right back then, that should be reason enough now, because they're going to still go vote. And because of that same passion they had, they remember back then. They remember what they went through. That's why I like to believe that if we just say that should drive us to the polls. But that's not enough now. Because what we're finding is, this is a microwave society. You hear it a lot. We like fast, instant, let's go. But again, back then, the pain, the blood, sweat, and tears, it took them forever to get to voting. And now we have lines. Again, you can find much proof about why those lines are forming. Those are different tactics. Closing poll booths. Saying that I can't find your name, but you're registered, and all those things that delay people from voting now. And it quickly deters people, makes them turn around. And so you see these images and you hear about these stories, and people, again, social media is powerful. And so people will post this on there, so it makes them turn around and they say, hey, I don't want to waste my time. So when the younger generation hears this, why would I go out there and waste my time and stand in the line? And guess what? My person may not win. So I feel like my vote didn't matter. Well, guess what? Back then, again, Big Mama, when she voted, she only prayed that her person would win. But she knew one thing for sure. She exercised her right. She did the right thing. And that's what it comes down to today. It's the difference between right thing, the right and wrong thing. Voting is not wrong. There cannot be anyone who tell me or anyone else can be convinced that voting is wrong. So voting is right. Start there. Okay? Now, am I going to do the right thing? Let's start there. If I do the right thing, no matter what, I can rest assured that I did my part. I did my best. And most times, and if we think about it, if in numbers, numbers are powerful. In numbers, if huge numbers of us as a people would do the right thing, stop right there. Just do the right thing. Just vote. Every election, again, this is not a right we always had. Again, Big Mama and all those other ones went through pain, blood, sweat, tears. Again, if we just do the right thing, everything else will work its way work out when it comes to after we vote. Because if everybody go out, then most likely the candidate that everyone chooses as a people most likely will win, because there'll be some other persuasions who will vote for that same candidate. But we don't trust the system, because the system is showing us that they're wanting to suppress the vote. They're wanting to create lines. But no one, I'll start a hashtag now, don't let nobody turn you around. Hey, that's a lyric. That's a part of one of those civil rights, songs that had a lot of meaning. I mean, it's true. That's what they sung. They knew they were going to stand there. They're going to stand their ground, and was going to be unmovable, bringing up biblical term, unmovable, steadfast. They were going to stand there until I exercise my right. The vote has to be something sincerely believed, that it's the right thing. And we need to start there. And then leave the rest to the count. That's where we need to go. And so if we can convince our siblings, our cousins, and whoever just to do the right thing based on history, again, it was the right thing to do, then eventually you will see, if not the first time, because just like I think Snoop Dogg mentioned the other day, that, hey, I'm going to vote for the first time. Well, great for you. That's sad for you as well. Mm-hmm. That you, after all these years, it's now, I'm going to do it for the first time. So the first time you realize, or the first time you believe it was the right thing to do, but yet your parents, foreparents, let's do your history, it has always been the right thing to do. So again, eventually, whoever you pick, you will start seeing who you pick won. And just like with anything, just like with any contest, that you're in, if you have a choice between something to pick pick the cup with the ball under, you win a prize, you always want your choice to win. You always want to win. Win is just, it's natural. It's what we want to do. Win. And so if we start voting in numbers as a people and doing the right thing, we will start seeing that America will take us more seriously when it comes to we as a voting bloc. Say, hey, just like we did to Biden in South Carolina, his campaign was doomed. And then suddenly, South Carolina, or South Carolinians, they would call them, they came out as a black people and lifted his campaign up by voting in numbers. That showed, that was a true example of what can happen if the people, the black people, could come out in numbers and do the right thing. You can change an election. It doesn't matter your age. Again, it's the right thing. You start voting at 18 and you go out and do it just out of habit, and don't let nobody turn you around, no matter how long it takes. It's the right thing, and you did the best thing. And once you've done that, you just pray and move on that the contest will turn out the way you want to.
Yeah, I agree with the things that you're saying, and I totally understand your passion. Mm-hmm. I am extremely passionate about voting as well. I really want people to come out and vote. But what I find with the new age kids, and just with especially a lot of older people, like a Snoop, for instance, or I had a student while I was in Mississippi tell me, well, Ms. Miles, this is going to be my first election to vote in, and I was like, well, why? And she was like, well, you can't vote until you're 21, and I was like, no, you can vote when you're 18. And I feel that even with the passion that what you said, my goal with the podcast today is to ensure and inform, right? I don't want people to walk away feeling as if I want to chastise you. No, I want to inform you about how powerful your vote is, because the problem, even if we do think about our big mamas, even if we do think about Medgar, today is if I'm not mistaken, the Medgar Evers, today is the day that he was assassinated. So thinking about Medgar Evers graduated from my school fighting for my life, thinking about all of the African American males and females that died fighting for these different things. Yes, for me and for you and for tons of other people, that may be enough. But some people, they need understanding. They need guidance into well, if I do this, how is that going to affect that? Sure, they're supposed to get that understanding within the classroom, right? Because in school, you learn about, the electoral college and all these different things, right? But my hope is that today, as we're talking, is that we can inform people about how this is how powerful your vote is. So, you utilizing South Carolina and how it brought Biden back up, how it brought him back up.
Right.
I think what
now that's part two. If I can interject here, there's a part two to this, and you bring up a good point about all right, I hear you about the ancestry per se, about the voting history with that. That's the part one. Okay, I understand it's important. It's the right thing to do. Yes. But it goes beyond, like you're saying, for the people who are saying for the first time they won't vote, or why should they vote. It goes beyond me just doing the right thing. I want to make sure that my vote matters. And I gave the example of South Carolina. But what you also have to do, this is part 2 to that. You have to know what you stand for. What do you believe in? What do you want? What do you need? Just simply asking yourself that question. What do you want? What is the ideal America? What's the best looking America? What happens in the best country called America? What happens in that country? What could happen that would make you feel the best you ever felt about being an American? How does that look? What types of things would have to happen? Then what you do, once you determine your values, your beliefs, your things.
All right, so thank you all so much. We're just taking a quick second to pause, and I just want to explain to everybody like why this is really, really important to me. At the end of this episode, you are going to hear Stephen say, problem, protest, pose. That is extremely important to me. And that is extremely important to me because we recognize the problem. We've been living in this problem for 450 some odd years, right? Our ancestors lived in. Now we're living in. We have children that are going to live in it, and we are doing the work now within the protest to cause the change that we want. If you look at my Facebook page, my Snapchat, my Instagram, you see that my friends and I are doing a voter registration drive in my hometown, Jonestown, Mississippi, on June 27th. We're doing that voter registration drive because we understand that the polls is where it counts at, right? That is where the work is done. Just saying, like, you know what, my vote doesn't count, you're being a hindrance to what you need for your children. Think about your son. Think about your daughter. Think about the things that are happening within society right now and how Black lives are hurting. You have the power. Our vote counts. Our vote is the power. These people work for us. We're their constituents, and yes, they have to show us different things like, oh, we can go on Joe Biden's site and see all of the things that he's about, like what is his policies, where is he moving, what is he going for, what is it that he's trying to do. That's what we need to do, and that's why we're registering to vote. If you continue to listen on to the end of this and you happen to have a felony, and you're like, well, I want to vote, but I have a felony, keep listening until the end. Stephen is going to talk about an actual site that you can go to help get your particular, like let's say you do have a felon, there are certain felonies that can be expunged off of your record. All right, I'm going to give you one quick place that you can go, right, to help get legal support to help you get these felonies expunged so that you can register to vote. You can go to http://mvlp.org/clinics/ and you're going to see this right here pop up on the screen. So you'll see this right here. Just make sure you look at that. You can actually type that down, click that, and when you get on the site, peruse it, get the information, and help yourself. Like, our vote counts. Our vote means a lot. If you're going to be in the Jonestown, Mississippi area, if you're a Coahoma County, and as I said in the podcast, please, please, please come out if you're not registered to vote. If you will be 18 on the day of voting, you can still come out, sign up to vote. Oh, Miss Miles, I'm 17 right now. Keela, I'm 17. That's cool. I'll be 18 on October 19th. Awesome. Voting isn't until November. So you can go ahead and do your application, and then when you go, they'll see, hey, my birthday happened X, Y, and Z date. I am now 18. I am legal. I'm registered, and you can vote. Please also, if you can, we're in need of volunteers, people to help us make sure that the voter registration drive is going well, and that we're getting as many people signed up and helped as quickly as possible as we can. Please reach out to Tashina Galmore, Misha Miles, Amber Miles, Gregory Neely, or myself if you would like to sign up to be a part of this voter registration drive. And we do need monetary donations. We have to be able to, I want to be able to offer the volunteers lunch, breakfast and dinner, because we will be up there so long. We'll be there from the morning until the nighttime, because people got jobs, and we're trying to afford people the opportunity to go ahead and begin to exercise their right to vote, right? So if you can make a monetary donation, please go to www.akilamiles.com/contact, and you'll hit the button at the bottom. Anthony, does that button say pay, or does it just say donate or button?
Donate.
It says donate. Click the donate button, and you can donate a small monetary donation, $20, $30, or if you like, hey, Akila, we want to pay for the food. As long as you click on that contact page on my website, you can say, hey, Akila, we want to buy breakfast for the volunteers. How many volunteers do you have? And we'll buy the breakfast. I'm fine with that too. I also have to get my volunteers shirts made. And shirts cost. That's like the priciest thing ever that I have to get made. So if you would like to donate to that, or if you want to buy some Gideon shirts in all sizes, maybe 50. You want to get 10 small, 10 medium, 10 large, 10 extra large, 10 double XL. That would be greatly appreciated for the cause. Thank y'all so much. And remember, we saw the problem. We're living in it. We're protesting it now to make a change. And our final big push is getting to those polls and doing what we need to do in order to get those people out of office who are not fighting for us. They don't give a damn about us. And we got to make sure that they understand that they need to give a damn about what it is that we need, how we need, and what we want to make sure and ensure that our siblings, families, and everyone is able to live a life that is equitable and equal to all. Thank y'all so much, and let's get back into the episode.
Will bring you complete happiness as an American, enjoying all the rights and stuff. What are these rights and things? You then look who has stepped up to be a leader. And I always consider those individuals who register to run for office. You can be a leader in many ways. Of course, just by registering, saying, "Hey, I'll go." I can use the biblical term. I'll go. I'll be the one to be the sacrifice. I'll go and represent the people, because once these people register to run for office, they're saying, "I want to represent. I want to use my voice on a higher level." Okay, so now you've already been handed a list of people running for this office. Okay, you got that. That's the first thing. I don't even know these people, somebody might ask. I don't know these people. Why should I go? But I don't know this person. Glad you was honest about that. Well, most of these candidates, if not all, they either have a website, or they have some type of local forum or debate or something, some way to get to know them. And I would advise that you quickly, again, this computer that we carry around in our pockets or in our hands, all the time, the cell phone, it gives you access to a lot of this information as well. So like I said, website all, I would advise, highly recommend this individual, these ones who's considering the vote, to look at these people, their history, what they're standing for, what they're running on, and see if any of that stuff sounds like that perfect America you want to live in. Seeing if they believe, I want to make sure that there's a higher salary for teachers, because I also believe teachers get paid too less to have to deal with my nieces and nephews or whatever. I think they they should get paid more. Because teachers, they educate those millionaires and billionaires who go on, to do great things, open those, become, company, business owners and all. They may not have finished college, but most likely they finished high school. And so they produce these very successful people. And so, yes, I believe that they should have higher salary. Well, if that's one thing you believe in, and this candidate believes in that, and that other candidate running against does not, well, that gives you more of a clear option to say, at least this person offers one thing. It's a comparison at